Up until now, America has fought wars in many countries like Iraq, Afghanistan, and Vietnam. But the question is, what if a war happens on American soil in the future? If China, North Korea, Russia, Iran, if all of America's enemies unite to launch an attack on America, then what would happen? Could they actually defeat America? In 2025, America's total defense budget stands at $962 billion, whereas India's defense budget is around 88 to 90 billion US dollars, and China's is almost 3 times that of India at $249 billion. Even if you combine the defense budgets of the world's most powerful nations, China, Russia, and India, it is still significantly less than America's defense budget. But you'll be surprised to know there was a time when America's defense was so weak that enemy forces actually captured the American capital. They even set the White House on fire. So the question is, standing here today, if an attack exactly like this were launched against America, could America survive? And why is it said that even if every country on Earth united to attack America, defeating America would still be impossible? Is America really that powerful? So let's get started. And yes, just a small request. My team and I put a lot of hard work into making these videos, so please go ahead and hit that like button. This inspires us to keep bringing high-quality content like this to you. On one side of America lies the Atlantic Ocean, and on the other side lies the Pacific Ocean. These two massive oceans act like a natural shield. As you can understand, if any country wants to attack America or wants to occupy America, they would have to transport massive armies and weaponry across 2 vast oceans just to reach American soil. But is this task actually easy? No. History tells us that attacking America by sea is not an easy task at all, because the weather in the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans often becomes treacherous, and sending a massive force by sea is a huge logistical nightmare. To cross the Pacific Ocean, China would have to travel nearly 10,000 kilometers, and in the middle of that, they wouldn't get any support. On the flip side, America can monitor any enemy forces approaching from its Hawaiian island and attack them if necessary. And to come from the Atlantic Ocean, enemy nations would have to evade the eyes of America's allies, meaning their friendly nation, which is almost impossible. Now, let's assume hypothetically that America's enemies actually reach the West Coast. Then what happens? Immediately after reaching the West Coast, the enemy would face the massive Rocky Mountains, standing nearly 14,000 feet high. Crossing these mountains means a massive waste of energy, supplies, and time. And once past this mountain range, they would encounter a vast desert region where daytime temperatures soar above 113 to 122 degrees Fahrenheit, and at night, temperatures drop below freezing. Surviving in this kind of extreme weather is incredibly difficult. Additionally, there is a severe shortage of water in this desert region. Look, most of the attacks America carried out in Iraq and the missions they ran took place in the desert, but even the deserts of Iraq are not as unforgiving as the American deserts. Now, if an army were to arrive on the East Coast, they would have to face a dense population center. Along with that, there are quite a few military strongholds here. Here, you have the world's largest naval base, Norfolk Naval Base, the Pentagon, and massive military bases like Camp Lejeune and Fort Bragg. Now, you might be thinking that America could also be attacked from the north. Look, I admit that relations between Canada and America are a bit strained right now, but the idea that America could be attacked through Canada is simply not feasible, because Canada's geography is also very peculiar, and the weather there is also extremely harsh. Sending troops through there would mean facing extreme cold. Besides, even if political relations with Canada are strained, there is currently military cooperation between Canada and America, and they are both members of NATO, so the option to attack through Canada is not available to the enemy. Furthermore, attacking through Mexico is also not possible, because Mexico is a friendly nation to America. Additionally, there is America's extraordinary road and rail network, plus its supply chain. America possesses a road network of over 4 million miles. As a result, any army can be quickly deployed from one place to another. Supplies and troops can be easily transported from city to city, and almost every American city functions like a small mini-fortress. Right now, America has more than 350 military and spy satellites. This means they can scan every single inch of the Earth, where enemy troops are deployed, where submarines are hiding, where and when fighter jets are flying in the sky. All of this information reaches the Pentagon every single second. So, if any enemy nation nation thinks they can secretly attack America, that is also virtually impossible. However, in this day and age, wars are not fought solely with tanks, missiles, or fighter jets. A simple mouse and keyboard can also sometimes become dangerous weapons. America possesses a cyber army like the NSA and Cyber Command, who have the power to devastate an enemy nation every single second. They can shut down an enemy country's radar system whenever they want. They can jam their networks. They can even remotely hack the systems of a warship. So, to fight a war against America, one cannot simply fight on the military front. They must wage war in the cyberspace of the internet. And this is exactly how America destroyed Iran's nuclear site, using a cyber attack. America possesses the F-22 Raptor and B-2 stealth bombers, which America has already utilized in warfare. These are undetectable by radar, meaning by the time the enemy realizes something has entered their airspace, their base will already be devastated. And the most terrifying factor is America's currency. Whenever a war breaks out in any country, that nation's currency literally starts to plummet. But in America's case, that is not possible, because America's currency is the dollar. Almost every country in the world considers the dollar a reliable currency. Therefore, even during a war, the chances of America's economy collapsing are very low. Globally, weapons, fuel, and food, all of these are traded in dollars, meaning America has the advantage from every angle. Besides, America can impose sanctions on any other country at will and weaken that nation economically. If a war ever takes place on American soil in the future, American civilians will also act like soldiers. Let me explain this a bit more simply. Right now, America's population is around 340 to 350 million. But do you know how many guns are in America? Around 400 million, meaning there is more than one gun per person in America. And this number is far higher than any other country in the world. India, China, and even Russia don't come anywhere close to this. A report shows that 42% of American households own at least one rifle or gun, and they keep this for their own self-defense. They regularly go to shooting ranges, undergo hunting training, and stay prepared for self-defense at all times. And if war breaks out, they won't just sit idly by. Rather, they will form small militias within their own neighborhoods. And the final option that remains is a nuclear attack. In the future, if China, Russia, and Iran all attack America together, launching a nuclear strike, even then all these countries and even the entire world would be destroyed, because America possesses more than 5,000 nuclear warheads. In short, if any country attacks America in the future, that is exactly where World War III will begin, and that would be the final day for humanity. However, history says that America did lose a war once, and that too on its own soil. So let's recount that piece of history. On July 4th, 1776, America gained independence from the British, and at that time, America was not as massive as it is today. However, within a short time, the map of America changed. In 1803, America purchased the Louisiana Territory from France, and that too for just $15 million. Meanwhile, since America had slipped out of the British hands, the British were furiously angry. They now attacked American ships, and they captured their sailors, forcing them to work on British ships. Because of this, America declared war against the British in 1812, and this war continued for 3 straight years. During the war, British troops attacked the American capital, Washington, D.C. They even set the White House on fire. During this time, American President James Madison fled the capital. However, the Americans did not give up even after this. At the very end of this 3-year war, in 1815, the British went to capture New Orleans. At this time, American General Andrew Jackson, along with a few local Americans, defeated the British troops in just 30 minutes. Only 70 Americans died in this battle, but on the other side, nearly 2,000 British soldiers were killed. However, this invasion by the British and their capture of the capital was incredibly shameful for America. But Britain could not hold on to this territory either, and finally a peace treaty was reached between the two countries. The Treaty of Ghent was signed in 1812, and through this, the war came to an end. In history, this was the first event where a foreign power attacked the American capital, and perhaps this was the last attack in history. I will see you in the next video. Stay safe until then.